start.
Hi everyone. We decided that we, as EXP self-employed agents, we would like to share a bit of our stories. We're constantly asked, why did you decide to go self-employed? How's it been for you? What are the particular challenges? How's it affected your life? So we thought we'd have a bit of a get together and everybody could chat about their stories, because our motivators all been very different and our stories are quite different. So I've got Liana Laporto and Sam Cerrone joining me today. Sam was the first one out of the three of us to join EXP. So Sam, why don't you tell us your story and why you joined EXP, or when you joined EXP to start with, but also why?
So I was looking into EXP during lockdown. I was following good old Ben Moore, the man with the beard, as they say.
Yeah.
And at that time I was toying with the idea of, I think I'd made the decision between me and my husband that I'm going alone. I want to do it myself now. I love a state agency and I don't think I'm ever going to be happy till it's me doing it my way. But I think when I started looking into the costs of opening up an office, it was just quite scary. I didn't want to get into debt for it. So I think Ben Moore did a week of Monday to Friday, a different video every day of how he set up. And I was mesmerised by it, absolutely mesmerised. So I had a few calls with Adam Day, and I think what I just absolutely loved about it, and so you worry, don't you, from past experience, are they selling you the dream and it's not going to be the dream?
Yeah.
And that was my biggest worry, because even my husband kept saying, well, surely there's something that just doesn't add up. Surely it's
what's the catch? Yeah, what's the catch?
Too good to be true. That's
literally. But no, I think where I was more excited is it's me that's running the business that I was at the time. People use me because of me, and that took me a while to realise that, and I think that's something I want to get out there to people. You know whether you're making a difference in that office if you're working in there. And more so it was my ideas, and I think there's a lot of stigma out there for a lot of estate agents that we've got quite a bad name, and I think there's some really good people out there that actually just love their job and want to make it a really enjoyable experience for their clients. So yeah, joining EXP to me was just the fact it was self-employed, it was my hours, it could work around my children. I could do the school runs that I'd never done before, ever. The first time,
fantastic, isn't it?
Literally, I mean, I've done school runs before, like first day, or I don't know, I've got a doctor's appointment, so I'm running in and I'm running out. But the first day I took my children back after lockdown, I literally broke down in tears because I didn't realise what I'd been missing. I didn't have it to miss it, if that made sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, my hours, my flexibility, my hours, my money. Let me run a business how I want to run it.
And your way, right?
So when did you join then?
1st of July. It was all set up from, I started setting it all up 1st of June, but obviously, as you know, you have to go through registering on company's house, all the checks and everything. So yeah, it took me 4 weeks, but I went live on the 1st of July.
And when did you get your first instruction?
I had 6 in the first week.
Wow. When did you get your first sale?
Oh my God, I've got the date. Look, watch this. 18th of July 2020.
That is amazing. So in your first month of trading, I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, you're obviously well known in your area then. Is it your hometown? You work in your hometown?
Yeah, literally hometown and about 5 to 10 miles surrounding, but my main areas are Blackpool and Redditch.
Which is manageable.
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to talk to you about was you're hopefully in the next week or so you're going to cap.
Yes.
Yay! Which some people that don't know about how some of the self-employed models work, they don't understand what that means. Do you want to put that as concisely as possible, without trying to confuse anybody? What does that mean? What does it mean to you? It
took me a while to get my head around it. So I suppose the simplest way to explain is that once EXP have earned 24,000 from you, instead of taking 30% off the fee that you earn, it goes down to £250 per unit. So yeah, I think I worked out, is it about 84,000 you need to earn for them to take their 24,000 or 86 or something?
Yeah, and then you take 100%. Then you take everything else.
They take 250 per transaction, don't they? So it's
just as an admin fee.
to earning all that money yourself. It's phenomenal. So I'll have about 2.5 months on it. But then after then, my ambition then will be to try and hit it by Christmas again, because they do it from your first year of anniversary, so which was the 1st of July. Yeah. 1st of July. So once it kicks back in on the 1st of July this year, I'm wanting to hit it by Christmas, and then I can have a good 6 months on it.
Right. So your pipeline is now how much?
94 grand.
94,000. And your average fee is?
It's just gone up this month, actually, 2,600.
Wow. Right. So £90,000 pipeline.
I know that's not probably a lot. I know Leanna's is
no, but 90,000 is a lot of money wherever you are.
Especially with that average fee. That's incredible, Sam. Such an achievement. In fact, you know, making the decision, you were absolutely one of the people who inspired me to take the leap and come to join EXP.
What have been the biggest challenges for you?
I think a lot of people say that yes, I get more time with my children, but whether they have my full attention is probably a different thing. I think it was hard for my children at the beginning. I don't think they understood me working at home. They're like, "Mummy, you're on your phone all the time," and I had to try and explain. Yeah. I'm at home, I'm still working, and I had to kind of use questions like, "Would you rather me in the office and you at stuck at nanny's, or would you rather me be around you?" So that was quite hard. My husband's a funny one. He's always like, he's always like, "You don't say no to business." Like, I've got so busy that I'm like, I don't want to turn people away, but I might have to say, "Look, you're gonna have to hold off a few weeks." He's like, no, you don't turn anything away. But then when I'm working at 10:30, 11 at night, he's like, "Can you just put the laptop down? This is ridiculous." I'm still in that work-life balance, but I've managed to take some staff on, which is enable me to hopefully go and have every weekend with my little boy now that football's back up and running. So yeah, I'm at that point where I've started taking on staff.
I have very
you're
similar
actually
issues,
employing
Sam.
them, aren't you?
Yeah, I have very similar issues, Sam, with that. And somebody said somewhere along the way that if you spend that quality time with them and you explain to them, because I'm struggling with that balance, and yes, if you spend that quality time every single day, then apparently you satisfy their needs.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I know.
Good.
Leona, let's hear a little bit about your story as well. So you started a few months after Sam.
1st of October, the date is ingrained, and a very similar story. It allowed me to be who I wanted to be, to do things my way. It was always at the back of my mind that I would want to set up, and this allows you to set up without the costs. And I don't think the self-employed, firstly, I was one of so traditional, and I thought online agency, can it work? But the lockdown and COVID really showed me that I don't need to be at the office to work. I'm a worker. I work all hours. I'm a bit like you, Sam, 11 o'clock at night. I start my admin and the work-life balance. If anyone thinks they're leaving to get a better work-life balance, but it's yours. You're working for yourself. You feel like you've got, it's like, your own thing. And I wasn't, it was a really good step into having my own business without having the costs allocated. And it's all about service. It's all about sharing that client's journey. And it's me, I don't have to hand it on. I think there's a real lack of information which is passed on from the valuer sitting on the sofa to the negotiators. And then when you get an offer and getting the background of the buyer, there are just some crucial bits of information which you miss by having to pass on the business, and seeing that and having then starting to go out and talk about it, it became even more apparent that it is crucial to have the same person represent you. There's a reason someone represents you from beginning to end and takes through the transaction, because there's so much information, and I think it's been received so well.
But the vendors don't actually understand the process. If they instruct a high street agent, they assume that the person that they spent an hour and a half, 2 hours with, who's sold them, the dream, the package, and they assume that that's the person they're going to be speaking to. Now, with a local independent, that might be the case, but with a corporate,
that goes back to what Sam was saying about realizing that people instructed because of her, and people instructed you because of you. Indeed. But then you have to hand over. How many times did I have a team of people or someone call me and say, oh, they've left the door open, they haven't passed on, they have done this. I used to cringe, and I used to go, because I was putting my name out there. And now I'm accountable. I'm accountable for everything I do, and that's what I want to be. I want to be able to, you know, that person to reach me 24/7. If they want to drop me a text on a Sunday, it's fine, because it's my, you know, I'm there to support that journey from beginning to end. So that, and also EXP didn't take any agents without experience. That was one big deciding factor. Because there are so many agents that are in it for the invoice and not for the journey, and not for the right reasons, in my opinion. But there are also many really good ones. But I think you need experience to go into the self-employed model. And I would encourage anybody to have a few years of experience before starting the self-employed model, because it's not easy, and you need to know what you're doing. You need to be really confident as an agent, and you know, because of my qualification, because of that kind of support, I'm able to answer and I'm able to relate, and you need to have that to be really good, in my opinion, as a self-employed agent.
Couldn't agree.
Coming back to your comment about work-life balance, well, both of you really, because you're obviously working. Well, Sam, I don't know if you're still working those late nights. I know that Liana is, because I see emails come through late at night sometimes. But that's a choice, because you've still been able to do some of those family things, and you've just shifted it. So if you're out of with the traditional model, if you're out of the house for 12 hours of the day, you're definitely not doing anything with the family. Whereas if you can shift it around, so start in the morning, a bit of family, a bit of email, bit of family, and the same in the evening, and then when the kids have gone to bed, you could, if you do another couple of hours work, I think that is a work-life, to me, that's a work-life balance. You're not saying that you work 12 hours a day.
You've literally just hit the nail on the head, because that's exactly what it is. I think obviously during lockdown, the third lockdown we were in, I put my appointments in from about 3:30, 4 onwards, so that I would catch up on some admin in the morning. I'd take the dog for a walk, we'd go to the park for a couple of hours, then I'd come back, return my calls, do my valuations in the evening. So I might not finish till 7, 8, but I have had 3-4 hours with them in the morning. You've literally just hit the nail on the head.
Which you wouldn't have had unless you got your own business. But if you had, so had you gone back, sorry, Leon, I know we're sort of moved away from your story, but Sam, had you set up your own high street office, which is kind of what you were thinking, you'd have had the overhead of the office, the overhead of the staff, definitely. You'd have been going in there at 7, 8 in the morning, not seeing the children or your husband at all, probably getting home at 9 o'clock at night at the end of your appointment, and have all the stress of that. And that overhead is massive before you've banked a single penny. Gosh. Whereas with EXP, how much do we pay a month? £150, including the VAT, to access the portals and everything. Now, and then if you don't transact, you haven't had to pay any more. So sorry, Leona, coming back to you. So you launched on the 1st of October.
But I think, Claire, that's the point, just to carry on the conversation. That's absolutely fine, because this is a conversation, and I think people will be really curious to find out why that we made the choice to join EXP, what the challenges we have faced are, and the successes. But they also want to know the difficult side of it. So it is the switch off. It is, for me, having stepped away from real always being employed, it's just you suddenly don't switch off, and anyone who has their own business understands that. So it's just about restructuring, relearning how to do things in a way, because you're alone, and we're agents, but we're not necessarily marketing entrepreneurs. We're not business people, or we haven't gone through business school, or we're not not, you know. So it was about a bit about relearning, but we get that support through EXP, and I think that's another really important factor, that there's a lot of experienced agents that have joined, and just being able to bounce ideas off them, being able to watch people, agents that have been successful, like Sam. You know, Sam's done amazingly. She's like taken the model, and she is an example of what it is to be successful within the model. I'm sure there are agents that haven't been successful with it, but if you just watch and you copy, because that's it. And I believe that's a self-employed model. There's a massive future for the UK.
But
because people
Liana, it depends how you measure success, because I know somebody else that we've interviewed, she doesn't want to work full time. So her success will not be the same as Sam's success or my success or your success, because, well, the market she works in, but also she's got really small children and she wants to be there for them. So you measure success differently.
When I first spoke with Adam about it, we broke it down on the call of how much I needed to do to be able to earn the money that I was earning at my previous place. That's all I wanted. And that was the alarm bell ringing to me. So I think I worked it out that I needed 4 properties to complete every month. So therefore I needed to put on about 8 a month, sell 6 and complete on 4. Now that was when it was like, oh my God, this is phenomenal. That's all I need to do. But what's happened since I've gone live is it's gone bigger than I ever thought it would be. And I've been recommended left, right and centre. So now it's the difference of, right, I've got the chance now to actually run a business as opposed to working self-employed, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's the business is starting to happen, and like, because I'm taking staff on. But when I did initially first come, it was just going to be, I'm just going to put 8 houses on the market a month. I'm going to sell 6 and I'm going to complete on 4. And that was just going to be just me. And that was going to be a fantastic wage. And I remember Adam saying there's a few people that just want to sell 1 or 2 a month.
I suppose, Sam, I'm at that stage now. Yeah. I'm at that stage now where I need to take the next step, and it's turning into the business, because it has been it's been well received, and people want that bespoke service, and you know, it kind of takes you by surprise. Okay, the market is great, but it does take you by surprise, and then you're recommended for all the right reasons. But then of course there are, I suppose it's not a measure of success, Claire, what I was saying, because you can adapt the model like as yourself. Indeed. Right, Claire? Mm-hmm. On your reasons for joining.
And I think when you get to somewhere like the big places like Countrywide and stuff, it's very driven, and you might have some of the best individuals there, but they don't maybe work best at being pushed, pressure. The people around them, they might work better by themselves, and that's what works really well with EXP, is how adaptable it is. I mean, you know, Aaron Tonks, I don't know if you've seen him, he's part of EXP, he comes from Countrywide, and I think I've noticed that his pipeline is around about 30 to 40k, and all I keep thinking is he'll be seeing his children so much more, he'll be earning just as much as he was at Countrywide, if not more, and he's doing it his way. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Joe Rylett put a really nice video out. I don't know if it's Facebook or LinkedIn, but he said he asked his children whether they liked Daddy having a job or being self-employed. And they, did you see it? And it broke my heart. And they said, oh, we like him being self-employed. Why is that? Because we see him more. Oh, bless them. And he's earning a lot more as well. So it's a win-win for him. I think for most people, I think
Joe is a nice guy, isn't he? Like he's a good guy all round, and it's just nice to see that you can get that balance of being with the children. And again, he's been in it a bit longer, so he's starting to really see the benefits of it. So at the first 6 months, as Sam was saying, are intense, because you're setting up, you're on it 100% all the time, because you're building something. But then once that's sorted and you've got a name and you've broken through the market and you're established, then you start to really enjoy and see the benefits of spending time and more time with your family. Claire, do you want to tell us a bit about your journey?
Very different. So it's funny because I didn't experience any of that intensity of, you know, I mean, I didn't even start any marketing until January. beginning of February, something like that. So as you probably know, I had some major surgery at the beginning of last year, and then we went into lockdown as well. So I was kind of sitting around at home, still working for Purple Bricks, doing the occasional viewing, you know, but really it just gave me time to think. So, you know, I was just thinking this morning, at that point, because I was still recovering from the surgery, I was sleeping a hell of a lot. You know, I'd just sit down and fall asleep. No, not like me at all. Anyhow, so it just gave me a lot of time to think. And I still credit Purple Bricks with introducing agents to the fact that self-employment is an option. So it's kind of just changing that mindset slightly, so, which I think is a good thing. But having worked with them for 5 years, you know, I had to come to the realization that really I wasn't running a business, although that's what I was led to believe when I first joined. And I did want to run a business, and I wanted to be able to offer a proper end-to-end service, not just be spoon-fed leads, deal with the property, and then pass it on to somebody else. It wasn't what I wanted. So one of my colleagues had left Purple Bricks earlier in the year and had already joined EXP. So I had a look at, we had a chat, spoke to Adam, spoke to Ben, and just had to think about it, had a look at some of the other self-employed models out there. EXP seemed to be a better fit for me. I liked the fact that all the agents were experienced. The calibre of the agents seemed great. It didn't matter who I spoke to in EXP, they all had time for me, which is brilliant. So I also launched on the 1st of October, but I did very little with it. I was getting to know the software, and then, you know, I needed a slightly slower pace of life. I don't want to be working at 11 to 12 at night, but I get that, you know, both of you wanted to do, or you know, you're happy to do that, but I just needed something a little bit less, which is great. So I now cherry pick where I target my marketing. So certain type of property in you know, quite a small geographical area. I work with just a handful of people at any one time, and I absolutely love it. I really love it.
You can adapt the model, can't you, Claire? You can adapt the model.
Of course you can. Yeah. So whatever your lifestyle, and you know, I put a post out the other week saying I wish this had been available when my children were little, and I genuinely mean that. Because, and Sam, you know, you said you hadn't taken your kids to school. I just say, you know, yeah. I bet you wish you could have done this back then, but it's not. So I think we should just look forward. I'm not one to look back. I think it's to look forward.
It's funny you say that, because for the first time, well, since whenever, I've considered, do I have another child? Because we've always just said, like, that's 2, because our lives are so hectic. Right. And I don't ask me how I do it. My husband says I'm crazy, but I feel like all of a sudden, I feel like I've missed out on a lot of their life, and I feel like we're still really young. Right. And I've got the flexibility that I can scale it down if I wanted to. I can scale it down. It's not a problem. Do I do it? But it changes day to day, so that's a concept.
But
we look forward to baby news.
It gives you options. And Claire, with our Women in Estate Agency group, we hear it's the flexibility, the being able to work, the knowing you can work from home, and it's not only for women, but even, you know, it's just knowing that you can trust people to work from home. And obviously COVID has brought that around. But the other thing I wanted to say is the mentor and the sponsors. Like, a lot of people look at it and say, because people can join and agents can join, and you can be their sponsor, and you've always got somebody. I know, like with my sponsor, I can revert to them at any point, ask any questions that I have, and it's no different to having a manager. It's no different it's different not. Because you obviously, but you know, there's a financial remuneration on it, but actually you're getting a lot for that tiny financial remuneration, because you're getting support from somebody that really wants you to succeed.
But it's support from the whole network, which has been amazing. Everybody, they've just been great. I literally have picked up the phone to people and just said, I don't understand how to do this. Can you help me with that? I mean, obviously the people that are paid by EXP, support staff, they're there, but if you want to speak to somebody, I don't know, I was given an instruction by somebody I know in Southeast London, and wanted to take it on because I wanted to sort of test the market. So I spoke to an EXP agent there. Oh, hey, you don't want to be doing that. Or you should just to get that support. There's nothing in it for him. Nothing in it for him. But we spent hours on the phone.
Do you know
literally.
what? I remember when I first spoke with Ben Moore. I'd worked for an independent for 2.5 years, and I don't mind openly saying that my boss at the time didn't inspire me. And I remember my assistant branch manager saying, you should always look at a manager, you should be inspired by them, and he didn't inspire me.
Yeah.
And even at Countrywide, you'd sit in the weekly manager meetings. There'd be 15 of you, maybe there'd be 20 of you, and there'd always be only 1 or 2 that I would think, okay, I'll take their notes on board. They've got a good point. And the one thing that I noticed when I spoke to Ben Moore, and then the more and more you speak with people from EXP, some of them are absolutely phenomenal. And I hadn't been inspired like that for a long time. And the ideas that we share with one another, I think is amazing. And it is just genuinely to help.
But Sam, you are one of those inspirational people.
So are you, Claire?
You are, absolutely you are.
So are you, Claire, because not a lot of people, and there are so many things that you told me, like you don't see it, Claire, but there are so many things that there are some people that have been through your journey that don't pick themselves up and do what you're doing. So you are absolutely inspirational too. But you know, when we talk about the women's group, about that imposter, you have been a massive inspiration to me, and obviously Sam's journey. And I think that's really important. And I think if you're going to make this model succeed for you, you just have to literally look at the people that inspire, the Ben Moores, the Scott Gans, the Joe Rylets, all, you know, and many of the incredible people that have joined the model that are making it a success, and just learn from them.
Yeah, so if anybody that's watching this video wants to find out a little bit more about EXP, all our links will be below. Speak to any one of us, all of us, anybody, you know, Adam Day, anybody, and we'll show. It'll be honest, though, that's for sure.
Yeah,
an honest opinion. Okay, nice to see you guys.
Bye, everyone. Good to see you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.